Yes, my dears, and a warm welcome to my delicious channel. Today, I'll show you how to make kimchi yourself. Kimchi refers to both the fermentation method and the vegetables fermented this way. In the past, people used to do this to preserve food for longer, for example for the winter. But nowadays, kimchi is served with almost every meal in Korea. Traditionally, Napa cabbage is used for this. It's also enjoyed all year round, but of course you can also ferment other vegetables like cucumber or even radish if you like. Besides, fermented foods are very healthy and good for our gut flora, and we actually don't eat enough of them. That's why I'm sharing my kimchi recipe. Of course, you'll need Chinese cabbage for this. I have 2 here. I have removed the outer, less good leaves, and you can also trim a bit off the bottom. Then cut the Chinese cabbage in half. Cut along the core and pull it apart, then quarter it again and pull it apart once more. This gives you a good size for further processing. Now dip the chinako pieces in water first and then sprinkle them generously with salt. The water helps the salt stick better to the cabbage. Make sure to get salt everywhere and distribute it well between the individual leaves. The salt is supposed to draw water out of the Chinese cabbage? Of course, that takes some time. That's why you need to leave the whole thing out, not in the fridge, for at least 3, preferably 4 hours and let it work. After this, the chinako is ready. And you'll notice that when the leaves have become soft and start to fall off. Here you can also see that a lot of water has come out. Now let's move on to the next step. And you need to thoroughly wash out all the salt again. Here too, go between the leaves, then take it out, squeeze out the water, set it aside and let it dry. In the meantime, you can prepare the kimchi paste. For this, put 500 cl of water in a pot and add 4 tablespoons of glutinous rice flour. First, mix everything well in the cold water so there are no lumps left, and only then bring it to a boil. Of course, keep stirring it regularly. This whole process takes about 4 or 5 minutes. After that, it will have a thicker consistency. And then you can add 1 tablespoon of brown or white sugar. Mix everything well again and it's done. You need to let that cool down first, and then you can start preparing the other ingredients that will go into the pasta. These are 5 cloves of garlic, a large piece of ginger and a small onion. Mix all of that thoroughly. Then you'll need 2 green onions and chop them up finely. Cut 1/3 of a white radish into fine thin strips and also cut a carrot into thin strips. The sticky rice mixture has now cooled, and in a large bowl add 4 tablespoons of Korean chili powder. You can get this powder at the Asian market or online, although these are more like chili flakes that are specially used for kimchi. 4 tablespoons is my guideline, but if you like it even spicier, feel free to add a lot more. Add another 4 tablespoons of fish sauce and mix everything together. At this point, you can optionally add 1 tablespoon of the small salted shrimp if you find them at your Asian market. Now just add the remaining ingredients: ginger, garlic, onion, radish, carrot, and green onion. And mix everything together well. The kimchi paste is ready. Now you can spread it on the Napa cabbage and fill it. Of course, also go between the leaves again and cover everything well with the kimchi paste. Wearing gloves makes this process more comfortable, especially due to the spiciness. You can put the finished Napa cabbage pieces either in a Tupperware container or a mason jar and seal them airtight. When filling the container, feel free to press down firmly so that as little air as possible remains inside. Clean the edges and seal tightly. Let the whole thing sit outside at room temperature for 2 days and then store it in the fridge for at least a week before you put it in the fridge. Open the lids briefly again so the gases produced by fermentation can escape. So, after a week, the Chinako kimchi is ready and can be eaten. As a side dish, it's a great addition to any meal. Feel free to sprinkle it with a bit of sesame seeds before serving. Yum yum. Some people also like to eat kimchi fresh, but it only becomes fermented after 2 days outside and a week in the fridge, and that's when the kimchi really tastes good and delicious. When it's chilled, it can last for at least 2 months. Of course, I hope you enjoyed my recipe. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Well then, have fun fermenting and see you next time. Bye.